Hello and welcome to Friday Lines. I'm your host, Luke O'Brien, aka OB. Reminder that Friday Lines is brought to you by Little Birdie TV and topsport.com.au, punting form and Manscaped, all your essential items for life. Joining me today for all things AFL once again is MG. Welcome, MG.
Thanks, OB. How are you, mate?
Going well, thank you. And up there in orange, the doyen of rugby league punting is Toprope, and welcome to you, Toprope.
What a great week to be with you, OB. Rep round, Origin, internationals, plenty going on.
As we start with AFL, MG, another messy week for Collingwood off field. I think was it to go and no. Collingwood's track record not great over probably the last 2 decades of handling these incidents. So they do create their own mess. What have you made of it?
Yeah, I agree with that line there, OB. I think I think more emphasis should be placed on the club than the player. Obviously he's got his issues off the field, and if they've known about it for a while, I think Collingwood haven't seen them put their own hand up too much this week, or haven't done a great job to protect him, to be fair. And I think they've got just as much to answer to as what the player did. I'm not sure who ticks off what, and I know you can't control these players and everything like that, OB, but if you're running a club going into the bye week, I thought you would have had comfortable words with everyone, especially players that can create their own mess. And if he can't take care of himself, I would have thought the manager and the club would have done a better job. But disappointing for all off-field distraction when their season's firmly on track, going well, 4 in a row. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out this week.
I was staggered that any club would let anyone go overseas in the break. I think they gave them a week off. A lot of clubs only have the 4-day break. A lot of players go to Noosa, Port Douglas, just to sort of refresh. And I get it, they have to have a refresh, but going overseas to sit by a pool, no worries at all. But going overseas to nightclub, that's just ridiculous. But Craig McRae summed it up well. He said that Lee Matthews said in Brisbane, we'll treat you as men if you behave like men, and we'll treat you like boys if you behave like boys. So I think it's time that Collingwood had a good hard look. But anyway, that's off-field. On-field last night, 1v2, probably didn't live up to the hype that everyone was expecting. Quarter one, I thought, geez, this is going to be a really good game. And then Melbourne certainly showed why they're still the best team in the competition.
Yeah, we had your counterpart host. She's got a lot to answer for come Monday, OB. I thought you might have thrown her a bit of a backhander there. She put the line through Melbourne, if you saw or heard about Monday's show after losing 3 in a row. And she'll have some to eat some humble pie come Monday. But listen, Brisbane were in the fight at quarter time. They would have been happy going to the huddle. Both missed some early opportunities, but second and third quarter, Melbourne definitely showed why they won the flag last year. And make no mistakes about it. They're the team that everyone must beat going forward. So obviously the break worked well for them. And unfortunately for Brisbane, they were really disappointed, especially after quarter time, as we said. But their hoodoo with the MCG is becoming glaring, OB. So it's a bit of a worry being on them for the premiership, because they've got to go through the MCG to win the flag, and it's not a ground that they like to come to and perform.
Yeah, I think the only way they can win the premiership is if they play a non-Victorian side, probably at the MCG now. I think that's the only way for them. They just, early on, they looked really good. But then I thought their forwards just sort of didn't come at the footy, which you have to do against Melbourne. Yeah. And a few question marks still on McStay for mine, the big offer from Collingwood and Essendon. And also sort of his contract negotiations up in Brisbane didn't look like he was fully invested.
Yeah, I mean, they lost, both teams lost their captains, so I think that counterparts, and, obviously Gawn's a bigger loss for Melbourne than what Zorko would be for Brisbane. But, they were pretty fit, Brisbane, other than that, so they don't have a lot to have excuses. But it just shows that, Jackson was able to cover for Gawn. His game was unbelievable, I thought. And the midfield dominated. The main players all stood up again, Viney, Oliver and Petrarca. But it just shows Melbourne's combination of May and Lever, as a tandem, with Brayshaw back there, who's unbelievable. He's probably on track for All-Australian, to be fair, Brayshaw at the moment. Just too much for Brisbane, and they got killed. And I think the scoreboard flattered them, OB. They kicked 21 behinds. Melbourne missed some shockers. So as big as 64 sounds, could have been 80 to 90 for mine.
Yeah, that's right. A bit of other sporting news around the swimming world champs at the moment. Australian 18-year-old Molly O'Callaghan edged out world record holder Sarah Sostrom Hopefully I've got that right, to become the youngest 100-metre freestyle world champion more than 30 years, while Zach Stubley Cook, the Olympic champion, also won a world title. So some good news there leading into the Commonwealth Games and also the Olympics, which isn't too far away. NBA draft as well today. A 19-year-old guard, Dyson Daniels from Bendigo. He's certainly not short on confidence, MG.
No, the double D. He's, you don't need to be short of confidence. He's over 200 centimetres and apparently still growing. It looks like, they may be predicting him going as high as number 6, which would match Guinea of the year before. So, it's good to see another Aussie up there, and hopefully he goes definitely in the top 10, because it's a big difference if you do or you don't. But he's chock full of confidence, and why not, on the back of what Guinea did last year.
That's right. Toprope, we throw back over to you, and international and state of origin rep round this week in the NRL. Brad Fittler, does he just not like Josh Adokar, or what's the go there?
It certainly doesn't seem that way, so hopefully that's a good sign for who will and won't be coaching Canterbury next year. Stunning. He wielded the axe. The eight changes to the extended squad. Adokar not one of them. So, look, there were some positive changes in that side. I'm certainly all for the Burton at left centre. I think he's it's a smart addition. You had to get rid of people like Tarek Sims and Regan Campbell-Gillard. No problem there at all. Few question marks. CSF for Talakai, no idea how he's going to run. I'm not sure he's in the 100 best players in the competition, let alone the 70 best in New South Wales. But we're here, and look, we'll get to the preview soon enough. But obviously, all the pressure on New South Wales, and you would certainly think that if anyone's going to be on point come Sunday, it'll be New South Wales.
So we'll get into more of the State of Origin rep games a little bit later. But Toprope, you're our golf man as well, and the LIV sort of pick up some big more draft picks as well. Brooks Koepka is signed for a reported $140 million. God, why wouldn't you sign? But the PGA starting to panic a bit now. Anything they can do to stem the flow?
Well, I think they need to do a little bit more than just try to rely on history and goodwill. Otherwise, the players are going to continue to leak away. They've obviously got the cavalry, Rory, JT, but even players like Colin Morikawa, who've been strongly kind of linked to the PGA, are reportedly kind of wavering at the moment. So, look, the reality is we're going to have a splintered golf world over the next bit. The PGA Tour have announced 3 kind of big global events. Is it too little, too late? I'm not 100% sure, but the reality is that the Saudis aren't going away anytime soon. There's going to be more big names going. And unless the PGA Tour can convince the world rankings that these LOV events don't get any ranking points, and then all of a sudden these guys won't be eligible for majors, it's going to continue to get worse.
Yeah, it's certainly putting a cat amongst the pigeons, a bit like World Series cricket. And sometimes these sort of older competitions just need a bit of a freshen up. So I think the PGA needs to do that as well. But enough of the sport talk. Let's get into it. It's time now for Friday Lines, brought to you by topsport.com.au. Family owned and operated for 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with topsport.com.au. And the first AFL game we'll look at tonight, MG, is the Bulldogs $1.36 against the Hawthorn Footy Club, $3.25. The line minus 16.5, over under 175.5. It's the early Friday game tonight at Marvel. There's 2 games on Friday. Which anything doing in this one for you, mate?
Yeah, a bit of doing an NRL double header Friday night. Toprope won't be happy with that, will he? Yeah, the Aussie rules try.
Take every opportunity, MG, to get one up on the NRL.
Yeah, well, we're taking the Thursday night slot over. That was another bust last night in terms of a good contest, I guess. And tonight we're going to go with the double header. So, yeah, early start at 7 p.m. for punters. So make sure if you're investing in this game, you don't miss the kick. I like the Bulldogs here, OB. I think it's on form line at least. It's a mismatch. Bulldogs have won 4 of their last 5. Hawthorn have lost 3 in a row. You've thrown your towel in on your side, Hawthorn. You're done for the year.
No, I have, but I'm I think they'll go all right tonight.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, no, the English out is a massive out. I think people underplay his importance to the
100%.
Bulldogs.
Yeah. So you've jumped off the boat, but you're still swimming behind. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I'm hanging on with my all.
Okay. All right. So, geez, OB's back on board with the Hawks. You're right. English is massive. Shows when he came back what an impact he does have. They don't have backup for him. Unbelievable Waitman getting back up after dislocating his elbow last week. He's been named. That's a big lift for the Bulldogs, him playing. Hopefully he's ready to go. But, I like the Bulldogs. Bet them early in the week, and the line really hasn't moved too far, 17 down to 16. It did get as low as 15. It's just jumped back up after teams have settled. Like the over in this game as well. I think it's a good spot under the dome. Won't be affected by weather. I think this is a good spot for the overs. 4 of the last 6 between the two have gone over OB. So pretty strong on the Bulldogs, and also a high-scoring game.
As we look to the NRL State of Origin for women, the first game for Toprope, it's the New South Wales women $1.80, the Queensland girls $2, the line minus 1.5, over under 29.5. My favourite player is Tamika Upton, the fullback that just keeps scoring tries, Toprope. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, she's an absolute superstar. She's my favourite player as well, I bet. She has absolute speed to burn. Had a bit of an injury-hampered year this year, though, Tamika. And we've seen a kind of narrowing of the talent gap. The Broncos won the first 3 NRLWs, barely lost a game. This year, we've kind of seen a bit of a narrowing as kind of a little bit more professionalism as kind of slowly started to kind of work its way into the women's game. The last 4 Origins have gone to the home team. While this is in Canberra, neutral territory, you have to say this is a New South Wales game. They've got the 2 Dally M medal co-winners from this year, Millie Boyle and Emma Tomogato. I'm leaning towards the Blues here. I think in a low-scoring game, these are always low-scoring. So the under is certainly that 21.5 is way too big there. I'll be back in the Blues. I really like them, particularly their strike out wide. Isabel Kelly always lists in these big games. She's got 3 tries in 4 Origins. She scored tries in the semi and the final this year for the Chooks on their way to the grand final. So got to be with the Blues, and very confident on the under.
And I see Upton and Boyle have both signed with the Newcastle Knights for season 2023.
Yeah, huge. Well, Millie Boyle goes there with Adam Elliott, her partner, who's just the Raiders and joined there. So they're both heading up to Newcastle. And Upton's a huge signing. She didn't enjoy the best of health issue, but she was an absolute revelation when she burst on the scene a couple of years ago. I don't think there's a faster player in the game, and she's going to be great for Newcastle. And it's pleasing to see the talent being spread around. The NRL announced last week that the competition was expanded to 10 teams next year. So good to see that talent being spread around, and the dominance of the Broncos is a thing of the past, you think.
As we look to the second blockbuster of the AFL round 15, Geelong v Richmond. Geelong $1.96, Richmond $1.88. The line is 0 even. Over under 166.5. MG, I am really looking forward to this game. This is, I know there's some good games this round, but this will really show who, if Richmond are back or if Geelong are the real deal.
Yeah, I reckon this is match of the round, OB. I know last night was second v first, but just from a form perspective, I think this game is probably the highlight of the round. 4th v 6. We've got Geelong have won 4 in a row, and Richmond now have won 6 out of 7. So they're both going along very nicely at the moment. High cover seems still no Dangerfield for Geelong. He's been out a while now, so that's got to be some concern, especially at his age. Why for the Tigers, they lose Cochin, Lambert, and Bolter. So for the teams, they probably balance out a bit. Richmond probably lose a fraction more. Great betting game. As you said, huge for the top 4 here. For the loser anyway, just with how the season shakes out. So, and good to see them test themselves against the MCG. Hopefully they get a big crowd. I know it's the middle Saturday game, but looking forward to this one. I think it'll be a low-scoring game though, OB. I just think, Geelong, 6 of their last 7 have been unders, Richmond the last 2. So even though they've both been on the high offensive, they both come from the defensive half. That's how they like to play. neither side's great around the clearances, so they defend off their own line and try and score from that. So both like a man behind the ball with Stewart, obviously Voslin for Richmond as well. So I don't expect too many points in the game, but I think the bookies have got this about right. I think it's flip-flopped so far in the betting. It started Richmond slight favourite, went back to Geelong, and now it's just settling on the Richmond side again. So I don't think there's too much in the line. If I was having a bet, I'd probably just shade Richmond a hair just because it's at at the MCG. But I think the play here is probably on the unders under the 166. So.
And the big NRL game this round is on Sunday, 7:50 over in Perth. It's the New South Wales Blues, $1.70. The Queensland Maroons, $2.20. The Lion, -2.5. Over under 38.5. New South Wales certainly need to win. Freddie's under pressure, and Billy Slater was a revelation in game one to get the best out of the Maroons. What are you liking here, Toprope?
It's a cracker. Good big spectacle for Perth. Finally, they get to see a good sporting event at Optus Stadium. So good luck to the folks at Perth there. Hard to go past the Blues here. A couple of stats here. Freddie's never lost a game two. Most notably, though, teams who have lost the opener and play either at home or a neutral venue, they've won their last 6. So this is a good bounce back spot. Ashley Clive's the referee again. I think that's important. He is known as a bit of a square-up merchant. They were reasonably livid with the officiating game. I think it'll go over the top, to be honest. But what I expect is New South Wales are going to be really slowing it down a lot more, laying through the ruck, wrestling a lot more than what they did in the opener. I think what we're going to see is Klein probably give them a bit more leeway as well. So the rather green and go with New South Wales. It's a good spot for them. I've got to be with the Blues here. I'll be more inclined to have the $1.70 than the -2.5, but I will be backing. These games can blow us as well. 4 of the last 5 New South Wales victories have been by 18+. So I think there's a little bit of value on the 13+ as well for those punters. Normally an under punter in Origin. Don't have any huge views on the total, but I have a very fast track over there. So all NRL games and the one Origin have topped 44 points over there. So I'd be leaning towards the over. And if you're having a man of the match bet, we've got Cameron Munster in the opener. Jimmy Tedeschi, he's excellent value. He is an absolute standout. He has won a man of the match award in 3 of the last 4 series. He was excellent in game 1. Always stands out. I think he's much better valued in theory. So I'll be all over Jimmy Tedeschi.
And I see that Freddie has named the 2 hookers, a bit like what Queensland did with Harry Grant's impact off the bench in game 1. Coruscant looks like he'll start, and Cook will sort of come on for that impact as well.
Yeah, I think that's probably a smart play there from Finland. Not only with the impact that Cook can offer off the bench, but Cook and Coruscant have very different games. Coruscant has very, very kind of simple game, early ball to clear it. I think that the plethora of Penrith backs and playmakers on the side, I think getting them early ball will kind of suit their game a little more. And Cleary certainly struggled with the pressure in game 1, and kind of part of that was Cook getting reasonably late ball, at least relative to what he was used to. So a good move there for Freddie.
As we look to probably the most intriguing game of the round, MG, Collingwood $1.46 against GWS $2.80 at the MCG on Sunday afternoon. The line -12.5, over under 165.5. It'll be interesting to see, what the distraction that DeGoey has had on Collingwood. GWS lose Bruce, who's sort of in and out and injured and suspended. Toby Green was absolutely outstanding last week. Braden Maynard should get that job in his 150th. This is intriguing battle on paper. Yeah,
it is. Collingwood obviously going well, won 4 in a row. But yeah, as you said, the off-field distractions will be interesting to see how they come out. I think GWS, the money's definitely been for GWS this week. Probably more for the off-field distractions. Every time Collingwood take another hit, the line drops another point. But open 15.5 down to 12.5. I think the money it's reaching its probably point. I don't think it'll go much lower. But I still think GWS is probably the side just on that factor. I think the major concern for GWS, a bit like Brisbane coming down, is the MCG. Not a good venue for the Giants to play at, and Collingwood will obviously play the ground well. So I think that's the determining factor when you're looking at betting these two sides. Contrasting styles. Since Toby Green's come back, the Giants have become an offensive machine. 3 out of their last 4 games, they've been involved of 200 or more points in totals, which is obviously high. Whereas Collingwood's last 5 games have all been the under. So they've gone from a high scoring team of free flowing. They've really shut down the last 5 weeks. You've seen a difference in their style. So I think for the Giants, if they get it on their own terms from the midfield, and this game will be centered around the midfield, if they can match him in there and get enough supply into Toby Green, they'll need more than Maynard to stop him because, probably close to the best forward in the game, OB, I think, when he's up and going. And I think if they get enough supply into Toby Green, they'll have their chances to win this game, the Giants.
Yeah, I think they they won that prelim against Collingwood a few years ago now on the MCG, but since then it's been sort of some lean pickings for them. So, I'm really looking forward to that one. It's nice to have a Sunday afternoon game to look forward to as well. Toprope, we'll have a quick look at the internationals. New Zealand v Tonga, Saturday afternoon, 3:20. New Zealand $1.25, Tonga $4. The line minus 10.5, over under 42.5. Any hope here for Tonga?
Definitely some hope. This is an absolute cracking game. Plenty of stars on both sides of the field in this one. Jason Taumalolo led Tonga. I think the line here is a little big. I'll be back in the plus 10.5 here. Informed players on both sides. I like Katomi Stayers playing 5'8" for the Tongan side. They'll really kind of strengthen up. This one will be absolutely one through the middle. And Fanua Blake and Tokiaho and Taumalolo certainly match with Jesse Bromwich, James Fisher-Harris and Joe Tapane. If they can kind of hold it in the key positions, hold it to the spine, Brandon Smith, Jerome Hughes, Joe Martin, obviously tremendous for New Zealand there, against Kula, Tautau Moni, Silva Havili. They can kind of get a wash or just a small odds out of that. Tonga can absolutely cover the spread and can win the game.
And Samoa and the Cook Islands looks a little bit one way with Samoa, I think, very short in the betting there. And also PNG and Fiji. As we look at Samoa, $1.01, the Cook Islands $21. The line minus 36.5, over under 49.5 there for that one. That looks a little bit one way.
Yeah, off the map there, Samoa as well, minus 29.5 to minus 36.5, and it just keeps going one way. The Cook Islands team has only kind of a couple of fringe NRL first graders. The Samoan team, first graders from beginning to end, including the top try scorer, Taylor May, informed centre, Isaac Tago, Josh Schuster, Marty Tapau, Josh Allaway. This is going to be one way. If this got to kind of 60 or 70, it wouldn't surprise.
And the Alex Johnson-led PNG at $3.90 against Fiji, $1.26. The line 10.5, over under 45.5. Can Alex Johnson take the PNG boys on his back there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a bit surprised at the betting in this one, and the line in particular. There's no doubt that from a top-end point of view that Fiji have bigger names. They've got the Army Kikau, Tui Kamakamika, Maka Sivo, Mikhaili Rangalawa. But they're not sure to tell themselves, Alex Johnson, Justin Olam, the Kummels. But when you come to the halves, there's absolutely a massive edge. Lachlan Lamb and Kyle Labert, two genuine halves, up against Kevin Nagama and Natua Masima. This is a huge edge for PNG on that front. And they've also got the depth of plenty of PNG Hunters players who are playing the Queensland Cup. I think PNG can absolutely win this. The last 4 games, no one's had a margin bigger than 12. They've split them 2 apiece. I'll be backing the calls and loading up on the plus. A little bit of value in the internationals there from Toprope. I like it. As we look at the remaining games in the AFL MG, this one, you have to be either desperate or a big fan to stay awake for this one. West Coast $2.70, Essendon $1.48. That's the 8:40 game into the Eastern Seaboard tonight. The line 13.5, over under 164.5. If you're watching this after half time, I think you're desperate.
Well, I might fall into that category, OP. Unfortunately, got to watch them. But, all the money for West Coast in this game, 17 down to 13. Home side, I know they're off a 6-day break, but they are at home, so they don't have to travel. So I think the price has probably got down to where it should be now. But, all the money for West Coast. Pretty keen on the under here. I think they might have shaded too much of the over here. So, the dog and the under.
Carlton Fremantle is the next one. We'll have a quick look at Carlton, $2.18, Fremantle $1.72. The line 5.5, over under 163.5. That's the 1:45 game at Marvel on Saturday afternoon. I think Fremantle might be a little bit short over here.
Yeah, I agree. All the money for Freo though. Open 3, now gone to 5 after the team's been announced. I think the value lies with Carlton here at home. Both teams in good form. Carlton have won 5 out of the last 7 and Freo 3 on the trot. But away from home, I couldn't have Freo as favourite, and I think the value's with Carlton.
Another intriguing battle is the Saturday 7:25 game. The Swans $1.43, the Saints $2.90, the line minus 15.5, over under 164.5. Couple of big outs for the Saints in Hill and Ryder. Any hope for the Saints?
Yeah, probably just balance it up. I actually thought going into the start of the week, I thought St Kilda would probably be the value. After last week, they'd have to hit back how bad they were. But yeah, I don't like St Kilda without the combination of Marshall and Ryder. I just think it hurts them too much. Obviously, with Hill not providing the run as well. So I think the market's probably about right. Not a game I'm probably going to get involved in here, but yeah, good one to watch. And the fallout for the loser's big here.
And the fallout for the loser in the next game is probably even bigger. North Melbourne $3.40, Adelaide $1.33. The line 18.5, over under 158.5. This is down in Hobart. You'd hope North Melbourne are competitive. If not, I feel for a few people there.
Yeah, I think they will be. Actually, not a side you want to launch into, a side that's lost 11 in a row and averaging, I think, high 40 points average losses as well. But, they opened as high as 26, down to 23. Now it's down to 18. So I just think there's too big a gap here for two ordinary sides down in Tassie. I think North Melbourne, this is not their grand final by any stretch, but they should be up and about. I know they lose their young gun Horn Francis, but I think the value lies again with the outsider here in North Melbourne.
And another intriguing game, this one, Port Adelaide and Gold Coast. The late game on Sunday over there in Adelaide, the Power $1.42, the Suns $2.95, the line minus 13.5, over under 153.5. I think the Suns represent very, very good value. I know Port had a good win against the Swans, but I think Gold Coast are all right.
Yeah, I think that the thing that worries me here is Gold Coast's record against Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide have won 12 on the bounce against Gold Coast, and not a good hunting ground for them going into Adelaide either. This is their best chance though, but Boak coming back, I think it just steadies the ship. And if I was going to lean here, I'd be leaning to Port, which is rare this week, like a lot of outsiders. But Port at home, I just shade, but big test for the Gold Coast. If they got this win, they could really put themselves in the finals contentions here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, MG. Just a reminder, the punters can locate the AFL Stings for $22 a week in the littlebirdie.live shop for all your AFL betting action. And for you, Toprope, enjoy the State of Origin and international weekend. You heard it here first that he likes the Tongans, he likes the Papua New Guineans, and he likes Tedeschi and New South Wales. So if his game one betting was anything to go by, you'd stick with the great Toprope.
Yeah, get involved. It's a great weekend. Lovers of international footy. It's a big weekend, and we got the women's Origin tonight, which is a great encounter. But all eyes will be on Sunday night, Perth, New South Wales, hoping to send it to a decider.
Thank you, Toprope. A reminder that punters can locate the GGOA for $22 a week in the littlebirdie.live shop for all your NRL betting action. That's a wrap for this week's Friday Lines. Thanks to MG, thanks to Toprope, thanks to Borco behind the panel. Follow us on YouTube, find us in the Apple Store, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Follow at Little Birdie TV on Twitter and Instagram. Remember, all your footy betting action you can be found at topsport.com.au. I'll be back next Friday. Don't forget to join Nikki on Monday for the first look with all the weekend's action and review. Punt well, punt responsibly, and have a great weekend, punters.